I'm Insomniac.
And I'm Pops.
And this is Shooting the Shit,
a.k.a. Chatting with Pops.
Alright, this is episode 61.
Dog hair flying around. Go ahead.
Magical love fibers, I call them. German Shepherd's hairs are everywhere. Anyway, episode 61 of Shooting the Shit, a.k.a. Chatting with Pops. And today's topic is from Matt Gunya. Again,
Oh, thanks. Go
another
figure.
one. It says, talk about learning a musical instrument. What benefits do you see in it? What's frustrating about it? Should children be required or forced to learn music? Any advice for adults thinking about an instrument as a hobby?
Love it. This is great, Matt.
He teaches music for a living, so I'm going to sit here and
This is great, Matt.
let me do what I do.
But that's not why I grabbed on it. Learning a musical instrument. Well, the very first musical instrument I learned, this is going to blow all your minds. 3rd or 4th grade, something like that. I wound up taking the trombone. And I don't know how long I played that. Not very long, but I probably wouldn't have been bad. I remember I was doing okay. But a friend of mine, say we're about 9 or 10, probably was 4th grade around there. My friend started playing the drums, like a close friend. So I went home and was like, man, I want to play the drums. I want to play the drums at school. I want to play the drums. And that was the beginning of the end. Because to this day, I've imparted that to many, many people. And it's a great love. But point is, I started to play the drums.
I'm trying to figure out what the point is, because it said talk about learning a musical instrument.
Yeah, I want to talk about, I went from that instrument with trombone, I went to the drums, and I have to say the frustrating part, which it is for everybody, kids or adults that I've worked with, is the reading part. But today I know more than ever, and I knew quickly too back then, that the reading was extremely important. But that part was frustrating. Playing the instrument, it's a frustrating process of you're playing, you're learning, and you kind of hit plateaus, you feel stuck. I remember that for a long time, like I go through with people that I have taught and teach. It's like you gotta press on, you gotta hang in there. So there's a certain frustration, but you have to keep playing. Now that's about playing this. Same thing with guitar and bass guitar, I did the same thing. Get frustrated, because there is a certain amount of frustration. And I would kick over my cymbal or whatever and walk away and say, I ain't playing the drums tomorrow. I'd be back at it because I had a love for that. Guitar, threw the guitar on the floor more than one time. He leaves the shot, all right. Threw the guitar on the floor, the bass, anyway, but I learned all these instruments, and there's a certain level of frustration, but if you have, let me say this at all, if you have a love or any sort of passion or great interest in it, it's worth it, and you do it. Now, the next part was, what benefits do you see in it? Great benefits. Your neurons in your brain develop other pathways. I mean, I actually have read and heard stuff about this. Really good, for kids developing their brain, really good for adults. There's proven fact out there that if you want to ward off Alzheimer's, read music, learn an instrument, do it. There's great benefits in playing music. I can't encourage you enough, or anyone out there enough. Play music, man. It's a good thing.
There's also a pretty strong correlation in school between A students in math.
No question.
And students who are in music programs.
No question. As for kids being required, I think they should require. Kids being forced, you brought up two things, Matt. Not forced. I honestly...
That's the same thing in school.
If you're required, you're forced?
Well, he didn't necessarily say, I guess, in school. But, yeah, of course. Well, if you're required to do anything in school, you don't have an option. That's being forced.
Yeah, wow. So now I got a tough line. Because I will say this. Lots of students that I've seen before, especially children, I would say maybe half, because I've been in this field and doing it, they get pushed away. Yeah, so that's a tough one. I got that a little confused. I don't think the kids should be forced. I don't. However, it's awesome for children. Again,
it should be strongly suggested.
Yes, that's a better way to put it. like Rob brought up about the A's and the math, but it's not just that. It's music is it's awesome. This is a great topic. I'm like souped about even talking about it. Yeah.
It also exercises a part of the brain that standard academics won't, which is your left brain and your artistic side.
That's right.
So unless you already see
Absolutely.
something naturally happening with your kid and something artistic, and you want to see something kind of maybe light up, maybe start them with some kind of instrument, see what they're interested in.
Absolutely.
Plus, in terms of forcing necessarily, someone to start music, you don't necessarily have to force them to, but you could try the pathway of seeing what instruments they're, like literally taking a Guitar Center where there's a bunch of people being annoying and just touching everything anyway, and let your kids let them see what they gravitate towards too. Guitars, their pianos, the drums,
or
whatever.
maybe nothing.
There's so many instruments. If they go in there and they wind up playing with the cardboard box to a guitar, then they're probably not interested in music very much.
But I would think most children introduced in the proper way, this is good what you're saying, would find some interest, and it's a great thing for them.
Yeah, I think the problem is when you try to force them on one instrument. Because look, I play a bunch of instruments, and at one point they wanted me to play piano.
Right, and Mommy said that tonight.
I really didn't really want to play piano,
yeah.
And they put me in lessons with somebody who was good, and I didn't really care, and I didn't practice. And then I kind of rebelled and just basically tried to stop the lessons, and then taught myself basically how to play keys for a while. Well enough that for a while I was the piano player in church. That was it.
And we discussed that tonight. Right. You can't.
But meanwhile, I love music and I play a bunch of instruments, but that was one of the only ones I didn't want to play, and that was the one that they tried to push me to play.
Right.
So if that would have been like my only experience with a musical instrument, I probably wouldn't play music. So you gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
Any advice for adults thinking about an instrument as a hobby?
Oh, God, what a great question, Matt, out of all of them. I could not, I'm looking in the camera, telling all you folks out there and anyone who may see this that we don't know, Steen, or don't, if you're an adult, I don't care how old you are. The oldest person I taught was about 58, 59, to almost 65 and retired just recently. By the way, Bill, you need to come back. You're not done by any means. I just want to make that public service announcement to one of my students, Bill. Doesn't matter how old you are, do it. It's a great thing. It's good for you. And again, all the positive things we talked about, even more as an adult, it'll keep your brain fresh, get the neurons going, get your coordination going. Otherwise, especially if you play the drums. See, I guess I'm going on because I'm thinking about the drums. You're using all four parts of your body, your whole body. Even if you're but average or below average at playing the drums. I'll use the drums, which is something I do, right? What you can achieve coordination-wise, and again, like Rob said, the creativity centers in your brain, left side, right? You can't imagine. Even if you don't get tremendous, a person like me could teach anyone to play even halfway decent, get by. But you have to have a gift, believe me. I'm telling you, man, do it. If for instance, Matt, you're asking about it because you're interested, I couldn't encourage you more to play any instrument, not just drums. Drums are awesome. But I play guitar like Rob. We play a bunch of instruments. I play guitar, bass, drums, any kind of percussion instrument for the most part, congas, hand drum, do it. Oh man, it is an awesome thing. Awesome. In fact, the older, the better. Go out, do it for yourself. Get a great teacher because they're out there, and learn.
Hey, news for you. Certain instruments will also really help with other parts of your life.
Definitely.
Not just in terms of like the therapy aspect or there's something cathartic about playing music to a degree and stuff like that. But especially rhythm instruments or things that are rhythmic, like drums, for example, they'll help you drive a stick better. They will help your
basketball.
They'll help your hand-eye coordination in every way. They'll also help your rhythm overall.
Absolutely.
Actually, one of your students who's still taking lessons actually started taking lessons not to learn the drums, but to help their rhythmic understanding and timing, and it worked.
Yes.
Night and day from when he started to the last time I had worked with him.
And playing drums, not bad. Pretty damn good. And let me tell you something. My other retired guy out here, Jeremiah, who I know these guys will all see it and watch it. He knows all the things you brought up. He came to me and said, wow, I drive my car, because he always had a stick car, still does. Oh, I drive my car, my layup, my basketball games, where he came in and told me all that. Just what Rob brought up is all a fact. The student came to me and said, Wow.
So many different things.
So,
timing is everything.
yes,
if you want
timing.
to learn timing, there's no better way to do that than drums. Because that's the cornerstone of playing
Right.
drums.
Right. Unfortunately, excuse me to my guitar player friends who I love you all, and I know so many that are absolutely phenomenal.
They don't understand timing.
Musicians, guitar players don't get timing.
They don't get it.
Bass players maybe a
Although
little
in the
better,
band
but
setting, that's not their job. They got to do what they got to do, and they basically have to pay attention to us.
to us, to the drummer.
Keeping
But
the
it's
time,
seriously annoying. But either way, any instrument, play it.
Yeah,
you know?
well, and then some of the finer, melody instruments, they help extraordinarily with dexterity,
No question.
and those links directly help with focus and other things in the brain. And there's
Yep.
so many, wonderful things that even in your day-to-day life, learning an instrument, even at an older age, could help. It's great. I mean, and starting off a kid early with it, especially if they actually have a knack for it, that's a whole nother story. Now.
I'd like to teach everybody in the world, honestly. I mean, I really have that passion. It's
You'd
just
be
like
pretty busy.
I know. I mean, seriously, man. I mean, go for it, do it, and I guarantee you, if for some reason this question was being asked, that last part, Matt, that you're thinking, if you go for it, you'll be right and be saying, dude, wow. Man, you were so right. It's so good. Also, no matter what instrument you're playing, but the drums, I keep going back there. But if you got to get out some aggression or some stress, you'd be surprised because you're banging on the drums. Although I don't like banging, I like to teach people how to use their sticks and finesse and play right. There is a right, in my opinion, a wrong way. One would argue with me. Although, hey, some people I let people pound it out. Some people are not going to get the finesse. Like I said about being average or above average or below average.
And of course, on the melody side of things, even though I'm predominantly a drummer.
Sorry.
If you learn something like piano, or I prefer guitar really over piano, or one of the melody instruments, and you get proficient enough, that's like a real awesome emotional outlet. Even if you don't write anything lyrically, I mean, just sometimes you could literally put your emotions into melody form and into musical form, and it kind of almost it's an odd thing that you're not going to understand unless you actually play and you're a musician, but it kind of helps release a lot of the emotional energy that you have no matter what you're feeling, happy, sad, angry, frustrated, depressed. You can literally kind of put it into music and you can create some amazing things just from emotion.
No question.
Then that is a type of projection that you really can't do with anything else, not even with written word. That's something you can really only do through sonic and tonal understanding.
No question.
It's a pretty powerful thing. That's why they call music the universal language.
It truly is.
What I was saying there, though, I guess, is as much as I'm able to spit out more automatic benefits of drums and the rhythmic side because I do that more. If you want the melodic side and you want the written side more, then I'd say your melody or lead instruments, like I'm talking about, even woodwinds, bowed instruments, which I don't play, but violin and cello and all that.
All beautiful, man. Music is.
Then you have your weird gray area instruments like bass guitar.
I love
here's
the
the thing
bass
about
guitar.
bass. Bass, you can't really write. You can't really write on it. It's not a melody instrument, but it's not exactly a rhythm instrument either. It's somewhere in between, and it kind of keeps the pocket.
Very supportive instrument.
Right, it's a supportive instrument, and it's
important.
necessary, but it's a lot easier to learn than other instruments. But it's not as gratifying when you go to play it by yourself.
True.
It's something you have to learn because you want to jump in a band or a group. There are some instruments like that.
Still fun. Still
not
great.
exactly. You're like djembe.
Right.
I mean, you ain't gonna really sit around the house and play that by yourself, probably. I mean, if you do, I guess that's cool. But you're gonna probably want to find a drum circle, or I don't do that.
I'm telling you, man.
Drum circles.
All the stuff Rob's saying is so true. I mean, some of the things that you hear me playing over and over came, like he was saying before, out of something in me. That one jam I play all the time sounds kind of disco-y. My students love it and stuff. That one especially just came from a place one year around Thanksgiving. Like Rob was saying, that I was playing and I just come up with this whole thing, and it definitely came from somewhere. And again, speaking to Matt would understand this. It is a super spiritual thing when you really get connected with music and your instrument.
If you do.
If you do.
Because there's also amazing players out there that aren't connected with their instrument at all. For them, it's just a science, and they really have the dexterity down.
Right. And yet.
That's a whole other topic.
And yet, one of the things I heard Jimi Hendrix say before anybody ever, his guitar was an extension of himself in his life. Stevie Ray Vaughan, one of the greatest of all time, no question bar none, that instrument was an extension of him, and you couldn't miss it. When he got into that instrument, it was like, you just got souped watching him, never mind hearing the amazing stuff he was doing. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. There's a depth of spirituality to it that happens, again, if you connect. Now I find myself, mostly with the drums, but even with the guitar, if I go further, I'm sure it would be something else. But I find them moments where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm at one here. So, you know, this could get real deep and we could go on a long time.
Now we're way off the track.
But again, Matt.
But what I'd like to rewind to is related to lessons specifically, because you didn't exactly ask about this, but it's 100% related to taking music lessons.
Right.
You don't want to go with the 4 million different sit at home on YouTube and learn that way lesson routes. And here's the reason why. Once you become proficient enough that you can learn some stuff, like half the stuff I learn, I just learn from listening and playing, or I'll try to catch a tab or whatever, but I already learned how to play first. You got to learn from an actual good teacher. That's the key word there.
No question.
First, because there are certain things that need to be corrected in person that somebody on the other side of a screen can't help you with. Even if you're doing like Skype lessons, which some people do, they're not sitting there. Yeah. They cannot correct your technique or your fingering. Like, cause I taught guitar and bass for a while. There's certain things they're gonna miss and that they can't see and that they can't do from the other side of a screen.
Sorry, some of our friends.
And if you're just going from the other side of, you know, a book, or you're watching a video or trying to just read tabs, you're never actually gonna learn. So what I'm saying is that stuff is all good once you already have the foundation.
Yeah, good foundation.
If you can already play and somebody good taught you and you're already in the good habits of whatever instrument or instruments you're playing, then you can kind of, you know, take your own approach and hop on the internet, and then you have a lot of really good resources to learn some things. But it's not a good way to learn at the beginner level.
No, and also that doesn't come overnight. You got to spend a while with a good teacher. Like, oh, I'll go to a good teacher, 6 lessons, 2 months? No, you got to go really get some stuff together. Then, this is going to another place, but I'll just say quickly, when I was growing up, we had nothing like they have today. So if I would have got proficient, and I was pretty quickly, I had nothing. I put a record on, and we learned the hard way. We had to go see someone live. Today, man, you got it made. But Rob's right. You have to get the right teacher, the right schooling first, and you got to get, to me, well past beginner level to intermediate at least, and then maybe you could pop something on and go, oh, I could learn that, I understand that. Here, all my students have always said, oh, now I hear that, I hear what's going on. I hear, well, exactly. Another thing, I know even myself, and I'm a school, you know, musician. I mean, you know, when I put something on YouTube, even now learning, I'll learn like Rob's saying, but I'm a professional. I could smash the iPad, you know, going, oh, let me go back. What chord? How did he put his finger? What he played it? Yeah, you know, it's a pain in the ass.
The only other thing I guess I'd throw in here is that I won't be harsh about it this time like I normally am when I talk about this. But there are learned ability people and natural ability people. But now here's what I want to tell you. I'll try to be Mr. Bright and Shiny today. Anybody can learn whatever instrument, you know, you're trying to go for. But what you have to understand, you know, if you have a friend or you have, you know, somebody you know or a cousin or somebody who learns the same instrument 10 times faster than you do, that doesn't mean you can't learn. Sometimes it could be a difference in teaching styles, but what you have to understand is some people have a natural ability and a natural knack for an instrument. But what I can tell you from personal experience, and I won't throw names out there, some people that I know, but there are some people who absolutely don't have it and absolutely are not natural, natural born musicians, and they did it. They really stuck with it for like ever and years, and you know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, all of you can learn, so don't be discouraged by that. Yeah. It just will take certain people different amounts of time, you know, to learn, because not everybody's going to learn an instrument at the same rate or level of skill.
No. And real quick, the Charlie Daniels story I've told 1 million people. I never forgot the day Charlie Daniels was on an interview, a Christian station, and they were interviewing him, and he said to the interviewer, and I almost fell down, Charlie Daniels. This man is an amazing fiddle player, guitar player, amazing songwriter. He said, yeah, I'm not a natural. I have to practice every day. This man is a nasty player. I went, what did he, and he said, if I don't, I'm not right. I'm off. He has to practice all the time. So what Rob's talking about is true. So just because you don't have natural ability doesn't mean that, but you're going to have to probably put a lot more time, effort, stick to it, put your life in it. If you're not, you could do it. And I have proven that with people, you know, and that's it. And yes, this person over here who's a little below average or below is definitely going to move a lot slower. But if you want it, you can do it. I know all about it, and that's all there is to it. So, but that's a fact what he's talking about.
So anyway, Matt, if you were hitting at like, should you learn an instrument? Like, go for it.
Go
if you have
for it.
Specific questions, email either one of us because
Yeah, please.
I used to teach. He does teach. We both play a ton of instruments. You know, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, so this was a good topic.
This is our life beyond what Rob doing this. He's got a passion for what he's doing for other reasons too. But my life is what you wrote about. It cannot be a topic the rest of you guys would go, oh, what are they talking about? It's like just the drums or the drummers in history, which
No,
I'd love to get
it's
to.
any of you, your kids,
Yeah,
your
man.
friends, your family. You
For
want to
everybody.
start, you know, play some music. Now you know some shit about starting to play some music or take some lessons.
So yeah,
But
definitely.
we're beating this horse to death now.
All right.
So that was episode 61. That was good. Oh, yes. Big applause for everybody out there because I got lots of new topics. In
New
the last
topics.
week. Thank you all
and
very
keep
much.
them coming. This was a great one.
Yeah.
Matt's on top of it, man.
He
You're
is,
the man.
But a lot of other people out there actually gave me a lot of topics.
Yes.
I think I used almost all of them. Unfortunately, by the way, 2 more people suggested the music store topic. So at some point that might be coming up.
Oh,
2 more
man.
people on top of 2 that already had suggested it like a year ago.
man.
But anyway, you know, thanks for all the new topics.
Painful.
And sign up on Patreon because please just do it. You know, it's $1 and we could always use the support. I don't feel like going into the rest of the spiel this week. And
Yeah,
see
come
you in
on,
episode
support 'em.
62 because right now it is 12:16.
Yeah, man, we're late.
And I
Woo!
need to edit this.
All right, guys, thank you. And Matt, like you said, you could call us too. I think we have our phone numbers. We passed them. And so, all right, bye.